What's up, Eric? I'm Aristotle Full Throttle. You might notice something different about my appearance. It's not that I don't have any eyebrows. It's that I don't have any glasses. Hello. I've got contacts. They're illegal contacts. I not tell the government. I just ordered them from the UK because apparently you could say, hey, okay, UK, give me some contacts, and now I can see. Hello, welcome to the show. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle, and I'm back. You might have noticed I was gone all last, or maybe the biggest things have to happen last week. Why is that? Why did we have to have like a live smack on TV and I show? What is this, Will? Give it a second. Give this show a second to catch up. It's got to catch up. It's like a hot dog. It's got to catch up. Welcome to the show, Will. I'll play your intro later during the outro. I just don't want to mess anything up regarding irregardless. So I just want to hi, Will, your namesake. Last week. I don't know how you feel about that, but we're going to talk about it. Let's go. Tyler got the Grammy. Tyler, the Creator. Cool. Like, we can talk about the Grammys, too. Let's talk about the Grammys first. Last night I watched the Grammys. That was cool. That's my group right there. I like that. I'm a fan of the Silk Sonics. I want to go see them in Vegas next month. I'm going to try and go see them in Vegas next month. Willing that there is no deficit of tickets. The tickets might go through the roof. I should have bought the tickets last week before they won their Grammy. Business Will says, looks like Twitch still struggles even though new improved Wi-Fi. Yeah, well, we're back up at 30 frames per second right now, so here we are. Guys, as you know, you can also listen to this as a podcast the very next day or perhaps that night. I'll try to get more efficient with uploading these to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere you can get a podcast. You can listen to this every day. Every day almost. You can't see my face. You can't see my hair. I washed my hair and I'm wearing contact lenses. I forgot that I was wearing contact lenses right before the show, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna free eyeball it, that is. I'm not gonna wear glasses. So I was excited to see Silk Sonic open up the show. I am a big fan of them. However, people are sleeping on Anderson .Paak. I don't understand how people are still sleeping on my man Anderson .Paak. How can we friends are like, oh, Anderson .Paak was... Yes, he was at the Super Bowl halftime show. He was the drummer with the kick drum that said Anderson .Paak on it. Nobody notices Anderson .Paak. Are you out there noticing Anderson .Paak? Me. It's just me. I had to do a commercial with Anderson. I remember you. I watched your Tiny Desk concert on NPR, which was phenomenal. If you get the chance to watch that Tiny Desk concert on NPR, I highly suggest it. It is phenomenal. The dude plays drums like a drummer. He's sick at the drums. He's sick. I'm learning the drums right now. So I'm learning how to play drums. And I watch this guy and I marvel at his ability and his technique and his funkiness and his ability to sing and play the drums at the same time. Meanwhile, the opening last night, if you noticed that, Anderson .Paak was on drums and Bruno Mars was faking playing guitar. He might have been playing something, but he was not playing what the predominant guitar that you were. FYI, because I also play guitar and I was watching Bruno Mars just mime or play like a power chord. Guitar, really. It's okay though. He's Bruno Mars. He's dope. Wesley Plocky says, I wish Call Me When You Get Lost won Best Melodic Rap Album instead of Donda 2. You know what? I was getting to that, Wesley. I was about to get to that. We're just starting with the... Pretty cool. That song is incredible. You know that song I'm talking about? Leave the Door Open. What a good song. And then, you had a performance from like Billie Eilish, which was pretty cool. She had a 3-piece band. She had Phineas on guitar and drummer on drums. I call him drummer because I don't know his name. And he was playing the drums, and I said, hey guys, looks like you need a bass player. Just putting it out there, asking for myself. What do you say? Why don't we knock on their door and say, hey, Phineas and them, why don't you learn how to play the drums? Someone left their charger. I don't know what kind of charger this is, for like a watch or something. I'm not going to mess with that. So I thought that was pretty good that Billie Eilish was wearing a Taylor Hawkins t-shirt, because good golly, it's been an entire week. I haven't been able to talk about Taylor Hawkins. I haven't been able to talk about, is this Will Smith? Will Smith slapping a rock. That was crazy, right? Well, I'll get to that too. I just can't believe how much stuff. I was so busy last week, guys. I was at a conference doing photography. I'm a photographer. I'm a photographer, as it were. And I was photographing things for nonstop for 72 hours, basically. The only time I had in between was the time to sleep. I slept mostly in between shooting, and and then I gotta say that they were a bit highly demanding of this job. They said, so when are we gonna get the pictures? And I'm like, when can I sleep? Can I sleep? Can a brother sleep for a minute? I sent off the pictures this morning. Wesley Plackey says, I love Leave the Door Open, but I think Montero should have won Song of the Year. Montero is a good song, Wesley Plackey. Montero is a good song. It's catchy. And you know what? I have to say that the most inspiring speech of the night was John Baptiste when he won Album of the Year. He won Album of the Year. Nobody saw it. He didn't even see it coming. He said, but he said this, Wesley, and I tend to agree. There is no best artist. There is no best song. There is no best dancer or singer. Music and art, the creative arts, find the people that need it the most and when they need it the most. And that's the beauty of the creative arts. So Montero is a beautiful song for some. Maybe the best song of the year for others, but the Academy decided it was Leave the Door Open. I gotta say though, Leave the Door Open captured a whole vibe. Montero is a cool song. It's modern. It switches it up. The video's crazy, but I think the video was more sensational than the song itself. The song is good though. The song is good. Wesley Plackey says he earned that. I love John Baptiste. Oh boy, I love John Baptiste myself. You know, it's really cool because he did the soundtrack for the movie Soul. He did all the piano playing and all the jazz music and orchestration. But on the other side of the score, you had Nine Inch Nails. So the soundtrack for the movie Soul, I believe it's a Pixar movie or Disney movie. The coolest thing about that is half the soundtrack is done by John Baptiste and the other half, Nine Inch Nails, why not? Let's just go with Nine Inch Nails. Anybody? I know it's a movie about a jazz musician, but why not we get Nine Inch Nails? It's pretty cool. It's pretty damn cool. I do like the music in that movie. It all does make sense, too, because one of my favorite things about the movie Soul, all the piano playing, remember, is John Baptiste. But one of my favorite things about that movie is when the depiction of being in the zone while you're playing music and how you kind of float up to the ceiling and it's an out-of-body experience. And John Baptiste said that in his acceptance speech. He said, I have had out-of-body experiences with all y'all's music, all the nominees for Album of the Year. He said, I had incredible experiences. There is no best artist. I agree. But I also agree that John Baptiste is an incredible musician and just a bright, shining star. You know what I mean? He's got that energy. He's got this vibe about him that's just so warming. It's a warming vibe, you know what I mean? It makes you feel happy. He's like comfort food. You know what I mean? I gotta say, John Baptiste, good on you. Congratulations. You are inspiring. And he said something that really meant a lot to me. He said, us musicians, we just gotta keep going. Just be you. Be you. Keep going. And if I had a message today, or any day of the week, it's be you and keep on going. Don't let nobody knock you down. Because then you could get up again. When you get knocked down, you get up again. Nobody going to keep you down. You get knocked down, you get up again, and nobody can keep you down. We learned that from Rocky and also Chumbawamba. Thank you for joining me. I'm Aristotle Full Throttle. We're talking about the Grammys right now. Boy, oh boy, was the Grammys an exciting... was it exciting? I liked some of the performances. What were some of your favorite performances at the Grammys? I gotta say that Lil Nas X, when I saw his performance, I said, this is the one to beat if you want to be remembered. This is the performance to beat. Man, that guy, he's just on top of, he knows what's good. He's a musician. He's a performer. He's great. We love Lil Nas X over here. Also, who else was up there? Lenny Kravitz. Did you see Lenny Kravitz presenting Album of the Year? Lenny Kravitz, I think, walked through a time machine from 1991 into the Grammys into 2022. It was just stepped out of the... He said he was filming the video for Are You Gonna Go My Way? And suddenly a phone booth came down with George Carlin in it. And he said, get in this time machine phone booth, Lenny Kravitz, with me and Bill and Ted. And we're going to take you to 2022, and you're going to present an award, and then you're going to come back to this time. Because Lenny Kravitz doesn't look a day older. How strange is that, ladies and gentlemen? Lenny Kravitz has some portrait hidden away somewhere that ages for him. Okay? Maybe I'm aging for Lenny Kravitz. I hope I end up looking like Lenny Kravitz more and more. I don't think I look like Lenny Kravitz, though. I really don't. I mean, who said? You know who I think I look like? Batman. Where are they? Thank you. But where are they, though? This is my question. Where are they? Wesley Plackey says, I can't say much about the Grammys. All I could say is I'm glad Tyler won. He wrote my favorite album. Well, good. I'm glad that Tyler wrote your favorite album and Tyler won. The Grammys are interesting. The Grammys have long been maligned for not having their finger on the pulse. I don't believe that I'm not sure the Beatles might have won Album of the Year for Sgt. Pepper's, but that's about it. I don't think the Beatles ever really got lots of Grammys. This was like the 64th Grammys yesterday or some business. Hey everybody, Dogecoin is up, just FYI. But what were some of the standout performances for you at the Grammys last night? Was it Jared Leto presenting? I took a look at Jared Leto's getup, his outfit, who he was wearing, but you can't say who you were wearing anymore. You have to say, what is the story you're trying to tell with your attire? I'm burping because I'm drinking coffee. You can't say, what designer clothing are you wearing? Like, you can't say, who are you wearing? You have to say, what is the story you're trying to tell with that t-shirt? I don't know, read it. Jared Leto was wearing some cool clothes, and I said, I should just start dressing like that. What would you say if I just started dressing like Jared Leto? Just like a deep V? Like deep V all the way down to my knee? I think that's the way to go. Really. You got to go Jared Leto. What were some of the others? Oh, my favorite part of the ceremony was when Trevor Noah got smacked. That's not true. He did get smacked. Guys, I highly recommend a comedy special. Before I forget, a comedy special by Jared Carmichael. I saw this comedy special over the weekend. I have been a fan of Jared Carmichael for years. I've been following this guy. He's an incredible comedian. So I highly suggest you watch his latest special because it's extraordinarily compelling and very, very good. I think that you should check it out, watch it, enjoy it. It's on HBO. I'm not sponsored by HBO or anything. I just think it's a good show. You should watch it and listen to it because it's good. And the guy's a very, very excellent storyteller guy. and very funny. He actually hosted Saturday Night Live last weekend, and from what I saw from that, he was great. So keep your eye out for Jared Carmichael, because this is the guy to keep your eye out for. Good golly. Very entertaining, very funny, very compelling, very interesting person. Watch his special. It's called Rothaniel on HBO. He hosted Saturday Night Live of the weekend. Let's just go backwards through time. So I had a crazy week last week. I was in San Diego all week, which was beautiful. However, I could not enjoy it because I was taking pictures. I was working, I'm not even joking, 14 hours a day taking pictures. No breaks. No breaks. You know why? Because I don't know what happened, but there were no breaks. I said, I would be like this. I need food. And then he'd be like, oh, can you just go run over there and take some more pictures? And I'm like, I need to eat first. Give me food, and then I'll do that. That literally came down to that. You ever been on a job where they were like, oh, good, it's lunchtime. And I'm like, oh, great, it's lunchtime. I can go sit. And they said, yeah, you got to go shoot the lunch. Where everybody's eating lunch, you got to go take pictures of that the whole time. I was like, I need to eat. I ate, though. I ate very little. I wanted more food, but I just could grab, like, bananas and apples that were on display. They were just the centerpiece. They were made of plastic. They were delicious, though. Jared Carmichael, check out that special. San Diego, good, but bad, but good. Just very busy. It was in a hotel. They put me up in a hotel. It was a conference for makeup. So, guys, if you ever go to a conference for makeup, it was just sales. It was mostly like, much money, and next, we made this much money this year by targeting these folks, and if we target those folks, we're going to get money out of them. If we get the money out of them, we'll make more money. And how do we categorize very specific, like bins, and just start? This was essentially the sounds like a branding opportunity. Aristotle's full throttle feedback for photographers on the go. Yeah, I think that I should do that. Is this Will? Thank you for that, chiming in and saying that. I should have my own feedback around my neck. I gotta say, I was starving and I was running around, but it was good. It was good. So let's get to the slap. Unless you guys want to keep talking about the Grammys, because the Grammys. Oh yeah, I just want to say, Stapleton. What's his name? Stephen Stapleston. I'm just gonna go back through my tweets for the highlights here. Stapletons. Kevin Stapleton's Kenny Stapleton. Stapleston. Chris Stapleton is a class act and one hell of a musician. I believe that. Chris Stapleton, man oh man. You listen to that guy sing and play guitar, good golly. Tops. A+. Country music may not be your favorite thing, but I always recognize talent and goodness when I see it. Enjoy it when I watch it. Is this Will said, I watched neither Oscar nor Grammy nor Slap. I didn't see the Oscars. I thought Lil Nas X was the one to top. I was kind of like, and Phineas Eilish. Wait, Phineas. Their names are O'Connell. I think it's Billie Eilish O'Connell and Phineas O'Connell. How are they master songwriters? And they're 12 years old. They're 12 years old and they're like mastered songwriting. They're like, songwriting. We've already mastered songwriting and we're all it out. We're just also we're awesome at. Billy and Phineas, you guys are great. I did like that Billy wore that Taylor Hawkins shirt. I thought that the Volodymyr... Wait a minute. Is this Memorex? Is this live or is this Memorex? What is going on? He was in high definition, so somehow they got a 4K camera to Volodymyr Zelensky in the bunker somewhere in Ukraine, and he was like, listen, guys, okay. Think about this, about the guys, just because, just bear with it, just listen to the show. Avert your eyes. Viewer has disconnected. Someone was viewing my... Wait a second. Somebody's watching my things. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I got some spyware going on. That's not cool. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to take care of that later. It said viewer has disconnected. Somebody's spying on me. That's disconcerting. I'm confused. Was it because I was connected earlier with my other laptop? Maybe. So anyway, I just want to say that Volodymyr Zelensky, it's just saddening for me. He's like, he's sitting there going, hey, everybody, the world, everybody is killing us, and the world is just watching. Isn't that crazy? Like that's what we're doing. We're just not doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. It's very much like the slap, but on like times a billion. It's very much like the Will Smith slap. Will Smith just walks up on stage and slaps a comedian. It's like he ain't never been to an award show before. He's never been to an award show because every single award show, they just say stuff about the people in the front row, the highly privileged nominees who were in the front row. I got so many things to say about that. I have so many thoughts. Guys, think about it. I know, this is going to be a hot take just in time for the Will Smith slap. I know that we're still talking about it. I want to talk about it because I didn't get to talk about it last week. And I don't think enough has been said. Couple things. I don't know. Let me finish up with the Grammys. Taylor got a tribute. Taylor Hawkins. Very good tribute. Got me choked up. Her was casually crushing it on the drums when she did Are You Gonna Go My Way, and then she did the solo for Are You Gonna Go My Way with Lenny Kravitz, which I found very impressive. I thought it was amazing. I thought that was a great performance, but no one else seemed to remember that one. Keith Urban, guys, listen. I'm just gonna talk like a comedian, like a guy who sits there and has a humor show. I'm not one to talk, Keith Urban, but there are other haircuts. Just FYI. I don't understand why Keith Urban is rocking. Look at me saying what I'm saying, first of all. First of all, if you're thinking that this is words or violence, remember, I'm joking. Keith Urban is a very handsome and rich man. Keith Urban, married to Nicole Kidman, 2 Australians, very privileged and talented Australians. However, Keith Urban has the same haircut he's always had. Since 1997. Anyway, you ever see that episode of The Seinfelds where there was a woman who kept her haircut from when she was like a teenager and she was older and she still kept the same haircut? It's like that. I'm not one to talk, okay? I feel like every single thing I say has to come with a disclaimer because everybody's going to be like, you're violent. Your words are violence. It's not. It's just a joke. I'm making fun of a guy's hair. Just like Chris Rock didn't make fun of Jada's hair. He just said, looking forward to you in G.I. Jane 2. Now, is that violence, guys? People are like, that's abuse. You know what? You're wrong. Here's why. Half of all people go bald. Half of them. She doesn't have cancer. She's not dying from going bald. She chose to shave her head, and she says she don't care what anybody thinks about it. So he said, awesome, I'm gonna see you in G.I. Jane 2. Could you imagine if Jada Pinkett said, that's right, and flexed her biceps and was like, that's right, you're gonna see me in G.I. Jane 2. Imagine she said that. Nobody would be talking about that joke the next day. If Will Smith just said, F you, and gave the finger from the audience, hey, don't talk about my wife like that, and then gives him the middle finger, people would have laughed, shrugged it off. Nobody would be talking about it the next day. So stop with this. Chris Rock said something that offensive. Will Smith overreacted. Will Smith took his best moment and made it his worst. Could you imagine how exciting it would have been for me, a big fan of Will Smith, was a big fan of Will Smith, very disappointed in Will Smith. I'm disappointed in you, Will Smith. I hope that you'll feel the guilt from me. Aristotle, full throttle. Very disappointed. Could you imagine how amazing that would have been had Will Smith won his first Oscar? He did. Moments later, they didn't let him go. They didn't let him leave. They didn't make him leave. Guys, you ever been to a comedy club and someone in the audience becomes unruly? The bouncers immediately remove them. I was having a Twitter debate with somebody the other day, and I said this. I literally said, Wanda Sykes speaks for all of us, and I read the quote from Wanda Sykes about how it was just gross that they let Will Smith stay in the audience, and nobody did anything. Will Smith basically kept that audience captive, held them captive. He made everyone uncomfortable, and then just laughed it off like it was nothing. After he went back to his seat, he slapped a guy, turned around, walked back to his seat. Just turned around, just didn't expect any retaliation, sat down with his privilege and his hubris, and didn't even expect any type of repercussion, and he didn't get it. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's very sad, and it's amazing. Could you imagine if Will Smith, our favorite Will Smith, Welcome to Earth, Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith. Parents Just Don't Understand, Will Smith. Men in Black, Will Smith. Even as Deadshot, he was entertaining. Movie sucked, but he was entertaining. Could you imagine if our beloved Will Smith won the Oscar without any incident? How elated and joyous that must be. But no, he took his best moment and made it his worst moment. As this Will says, imagine being 53 years old, working to get an Oscar for 21 years, and when he had his best chance to win one, he loses his cool. That's exactly what I'm saying, Will. He took his best moment and made it his worst moment. Isn't that self-destructive? Isn't that messed up? Now, let me just be clear about this slap and my opinion about the slap, okay? Because I have had a week to think about it. On the street, if someone came up to my partner who shaved her head and said, oh yeah, I can't wait till you see you at G.I. Jane 2 or something like that, I'm not saying a slap is completely out the question. Okay? I do not condone violence. I don't condone violence. But I'm trying to think of a scenario where it would warrant that response. I have had partners insulted by people, and I've walked up to them, took them aside, and said, hey, you insulted my partner. I would like for you to apologize to them. I've said, hey, you've insulted them in this way. You said these things. That was insulting. Now please apologize. I've said that. I've done that. I think that's the more manly thing to do, instead of picking on someone half your size. But I just find it highly disgusting. I find it offensive, messed up in every way that Will Smith just didn't have any type of reaction. I mean, any type of repercussion for his behavior. And I was on Twitter having a battle with someone, and they were like, you don't go to an award show to get roasted. And I was like, you don't ask Chris Rock to present without jokes. You don't ask Chris Rock. It's like you've never seen an award show before. Clearly, you've never seen an award show. You don't have ever heard of Ricky Gervais? Have you ever heard of Billy Crystal? Have you ever heard of Bob Hope? These people made fun of these celebrities, the privileged and rich and talented celebrities. They make fun of them. And then the person said on the internet, you think they should take his award away? And I said, they should have kicked him out. She's like, why should they take his award away? And I was like, they should have kicked him out. Here's the trick, ladies and gentlemen. If you are arguing with someone on the internet, I know it never happens. I know that it's just a rare occurrence where people on Facebook immediately just start tearing into each other's soul about whatever small issue. But here's what you do. You stick to the issue. You stick to what you stated. I stated Will Smith should have been kicked out. And this person started saying, why are you okay with verbal assault? And I was like, first of all, Will Smith should have been kicked out. And then they said, it's okay to be verbally abusive to people? And I said, Will Smith should have been kicked out. And they said, well, John Wayne assaulted people and they never took his Oscar away. And I said, hey, Will Smith should have been kicked out. My screen is being controlled, it says. Disconnect. Screen is being controlled. I don't like that. I disconnected them. Let me see the sharing preferences here. Come with me on this journey to protect, much like Will Smith is protecting his family. Remember that speech he gave? I didn't even watch his acceptance speech for his Oscar because I'm like, you know, you're not protecting anybody. And also, what makes you think that Jada can't protect herself in that situation where she can't just say, F you, or I don't care what you think? You know what I mean? It's just so silly. It was such a stupid thing for Will Smith to have done. Screen sharing. Only these users. Screen sharing on. Guys, anyone may request permission to control my screen. Okay. No, I unchecked that. Is this Will says, when people talk about false flag events, this just feels like a sleight of hand. Let me back up here. Is this Will says, it seems so far gone and too surreal to not be a publicity stunt. I don't think it was a publicity stunt, Will. Here's the thing with events like this. Here's the thing with a lot of events. People don't want to believe that they're real. This is a common occurrence. This is why people try to deny certain realities, because they're like, oh, well, I don't want... It's too hard for me to accept that it's real, so it must be fake. Will, I don't think that they would have dragged it out this much if it was a publicity stunt. So he seems to be accepting that his Oscar is going away. Isis Will says he resigned from the Academy today, so he seems to be accepting that his Oscar is going away. Isis Will, you're talking about Will Smith resigning from the Academy. That's not a punishment. Because he chose it. See what I'm saying? Will Smith said, I'ma do this. No, that's not a punishment. A punishment is you're going to do this because you did that. And you're not going to want to do that. You're not going to choose to do that. You're going to do it to make amends. Him resigning from the Academy is his choice at this point. So it's not a punishment. It's not a repercussion, in my opinion. That's just like... That's like me saying, hey, Will, sorry, I don't know. Just think of the worst thing I could have done. Or maybe, Will, sorry I punched you in the face, but here's a car. Here's a car, Will. You know, sorry I punched you in the face, but here's a car. You should feel better now. It's just throwing money, or it's just throwing power. It's just throwing like your own choice at the issue. You know what I mean? It's not a punishment. It's not a punishment to sit there and be like, all right, well, I know I punched you guys in the face at the bowling league. I'm going to quit the bowling league. It's like, okay, cool. But what's the apology? What's the comeuppance? See what I'm saying? Isis Will says, I'm coming from a wrestling perspective. People slap each other all the time in wrestling. And it's fun to watch because, you know, because that's the venue for it. An award show with a comedian presenting, gonna say a joke. He's gonna do it at someone in the audience's expense to make us all laugh. Abuse is different. Abuse is not the same as poking fun at one person to make everyone laugh. I'm going to sit here and staunchly defend comedians because comedians have the right to say what they want to say. Because the trick is, comedians want to do the opposite of what they're being accused of, which is to make people feel happy. They want the room to laugh and feel happy. I'm going to drive this point home. When people say they were being mean, they were being abusive, no. They're literally trying to make a room full of people and the world smile. Sorry that they made fun of your haircut. It's, come on, have a sense of humor. Don't take yourself so seriously. It's ridiculous. Stop. Just stop it, Jada Pinkett Smith. Stop it, Will Smith. They're so narcissistic they can't even see. They can't even see beyond their narcissism. It's insane. I'm so disappointed. Especially I saw Willow Smith last week at Erewhon. I said, hey, that's Willow Smith. Can't miss her. She's got a shaved head too. Isis Will said they sent him a letter with their concerns, from what I understand, and his choosing to resign was recognition of the inclination they will be taking. Yes, but Will, I just don't see that as they should have, one, made him leave. I don't think they should take his Oscar away. That's a work he did. That's said and done. Like, they voted on that. He did that. They voted on it. What happened was that night. They should just deal with that night. They should have removed him from the audience. Should have just removed him. What's so hard about that? Who cares he's Will Smith? Any other human being in the world goes up on stage during an award show and slaps the host? Come on. Come on. They're not going to take them out? They're not going to take him out of the venue and toss him out on the street? Come on. Will, I just don't think that Will Smith deciding to do something on his own is necessarily the appropriate response or action or anything. I just think that the Academy should have got their gumption together and just said, hey, we're kicking you out of the Academy for 5 years or whatever. So, Isis Will says the staged shoot, as they call it, is when they break a facade of entertainment and shock the audience. An open hand slap is not the same as throwing a drink in someone's face or mushing them with a pie. Well, not sure what you're saying. A staged shoot, as they call it? So let me get this straight. There are people who think that Will Smith's behavior was warranted. Apparently there are. You're wrong. Sorry, you're wrong. There's no way to cut it that was okay. There's just no way. Words meet words. Actions meet actions. Chris Rock said some words. that could have been interpreted any which way you wanted. Jada Pinkett Smith could have just said, hey, that's right, I'm going to be in G.I. Jane 2, ha ha ha. That would have been it. Will Smith was laughing. Come on now. I'm not going to sit here and say that a slap is worse than a punch, is not as good as this or that. Studio 8H, just in time. I'm back. We're talking about the Will Smith smack attack. Welcome to the show. I'm just saying, listen, there's no way you're right saying that Will Smith was okay in hitting a performer and not getting kicked out for it. There's just change my mind. Is this Will says, in the wrestling community, they think it was a shoot that went over poorly, and everything since has been damage control. I disagree. I think it would have been, if they said it was planned, this would all be over, Will. Why are they dragging it out? Why are they resigning from the Academy? Why? It wasn't wrestling, it was the Academy Awards. It was like the opposite of wrestling. It's not a shoot. It's just Will Smith losing his cool because he has got a very fragile ego and has been widely known that like a lot of their personal laundry has been aired through various podcasts and stuff. Jada's and Will's personal lives have been exposed, and Will's got his YouTube channel and she's got her podcast, and they're just talking about every which thing. And so they feel so narcissistic that their lives are what they think is the most important thing, and that everybody's thinking inside their head. And they're not. We're not. You're just a rich dude who slapped another rich dude. And I'd also want to take this out of people's mouths. I want people to take this out their effing mouth. This isn't a race issue. Anybody saying that, just shut up. Okay? I said it. Stop it. This is one man slapping another man in front of the world over a couple words. That's it. There's no color person where it's okay for them to slap. You see what I'm saying? This is irrelevant. It's a non-factor. It's just an occurrence of violence that is not okay. It's just not. It changed my mind. Change my mind. Will Smith could have done any other thing in that moment. I like the way Chris Rock recovered, though, like a pro. Yeah, but, you know, I keep saying change my mind, but you're not going to change my mind. There's no... This is the problem. Everything becomes a two-sided issue. Everything. And it doesn't make any sense. We live in a world where there's two sides to every story. And I'm like, no, there isn't. The sun is in the sky. We're not going to argue that. Stop it. It's a waste of energy. Is this Will hammering it home with, even if it was a worked shoot for a bit, Andy Kaufman style, if they were to admit he and Rock would both be blackballed, so falling on his sword is the narrative that best fits Will Smith. Totally disagree with you, Will. Totally disagree. I just think that why would they if they said it was a stunt, it would be over. I'm not going to sit here and reach with the theories. If they said, look, we planned it, ha ha ha, everybody would be like, oh, okay. Moving on. There wouldn't be this controversy. Yes, Studio 8H, I was actually recommending Jared Carmichael his comedy special, his latest comedy special. I was talking about him earlier in the show and saying how much I like his comedy, and I've been following him for years, and I just watched his HBO special called Rothaniel, which I freaking loved. I thought it was a powerful special. And yes, just this morning, I watched Jared Carmichael's monologue from SNL when he hosted last Saturday, and in fact, shared it with my parents and shared it with other people. I thought it was hilarious. They loved it too. Very, very, very funny and compelling dude. We love Jared Carmichael around here. I want to see more. That's the only disappointment about Jared Carmichael, is that there isn't just tons of his material out there that I can watch. Because I watched his last special. I YouTubed him like a couple years ago. I was just watching everything about Jared Carmichael that I could find. And then I was so excited that he had his latest special. Watch it. Is Will says, was it Madonna or Drew Barrymore that slapped Letterman or someone else? It was Madonna. Drew Barrymore stood on Letterman's desk and flashed him. But here's the thing. There's no wrestling narrative. Will Smith is not a professional wrestler. Chris Rock is not a professional wrestler. These are actors. One's an actor, one's a comedian, but they both do both, kind of. The point is, it's just... There's just no cutting it that Will Smith was in the right. He should have been kicked out. They didn't kick him out because he is Will Smith. And I think that that's the worst thing you can do for a narcissist, is reward them for their bad behavior. And that's what they did. Is Will says, I think if they admit, it would be worse, because when would Jesse Smollett level BS? Well, I'm not going to go down. I'm not going to... You can die on the false flag hill. That's fine. I'm not going to follow you on the... It's just not happening. I just don't believe that if they had admitted it, that that would be worse. If they were like, look, this was a joke that went wrong, we'd all be okay with it by now. There is no. It's not the level of Jussie Smollett, hiring people to attack him on the street of Chicago, involving the police, etc., etc. This is something we all saw happen. It's not the same. Is Will says wrestlers are stunt actors who perform comedy from time to time. Is Will, your ability to segue and interweave is unparalleled and highly appreciated on this show. Your ability to effortlessly take themes and weave them together into a tapestry is highly celebrated here at Aristotle Full Throttle. We do love your thoughtful insight and your comments, Harry. And but I'm not with you on this one. I'm just not with you on this one. To quote Coolio in the Weird Al Behind the Music, when they had asked him, hey, Coolio, what do you think about Amish Paradise, the Weird Al parody of Gangsta's Paradise? And he said, I ain't with that. That's my final thought. Will, this is the problem. I feel like there's two sides to every story, but there isn't two sides to every story. There's just will happen. Literally Russia is killing people in the streets of Ukraine, and some people are like, well, there's two sides to every story. I'm like, you guys, come on now. What? Isis Will says he's testing my patience with my devil's advocacy. I noticed. I noticed. It's working. But you know what? I'm cool as Batman. Well, Isis Will. This is our favorite Batman, Adam West. And I see it is clearly a false flag operation. Will Smith was using his extendable hand to slap Chris Rock in the face. Chris Rock was saying words. If Will Smith wanted to defend his wife, he could have said words back. Words meet words, actions meet actions. That's how I see it. It's just, and that's how I see it. Isis Will says, I don't trust actors and comedians to not be on in the moment. Well, Will, you seen the way Will Smith reacted. You saw it. I saw it. Will Smith's reaction, his shouting, demonstrated an unhinged type of dude. Very unhinged. Clearly not. Things are going on with him. If he had just shouted that, people would have been like, ooh, Will Smith's upset. Wow. But he had to go on the stage and go slap a fool. That was stupid. He literally slapped a fool. Literally. Chris Rock is a comedian, aka a fool, a jester. He's a fool. Why would you slap the fool? Studio 8H says the room got silent immediately when he started screaming. Yeah, because you know what it was like? It was like the dad at the head of the table, dinner table, screaming at one of the kids or the wife, screaming at them, and then everybody eat your food. See what I'm saying? And then going on to laugh. It's traumatic. Did you see Nicole Kidman after that? Nicole Kidman didn't know how to contain herself. You had Keith Urban with his haircut, his one and only haircut from 1997, going over to comfort his wife because she was traumatized. Nobody's expecting that at an award show. When people are like, yeah, you don't... People, the hosts and the presenters are saying mean things. You're not expecting that at an award show. No, you're not expecting someone to scream, shout, and use violence. You're not expecting that. My sister even said, how was it so easy for Will Smith to get on stage? And I'm like, because it's an award show, and there's no reason. It's designed. It's an award show designed for people to be able to walk up on stage and accept their award. That's why. Anybody in the pit can get up on stage. The nominees are right there, so they can run up on stage and get their award. That's why it's so easy for them to run up on stage, first of all. Second of all, there's no reason to believe Will Smith will be violent. Until now. But the room did get silent. It was just angry, abusive behavior. And everybody had to sit there and grin and bear it. Walk on eggshells around Will Smith. We can't ask Will Smith to leave. Supposedly they did ask him to leave and he refused. And they said, okay, we're going to ask again, maybe. Will says, part of the shock factor is that since there are no security or resistance, he could have tried to kill him, or worse yet, if Rock had bludgeoned him with something on stage. Imagine he took an Oscar and whacked Will back in the head. Oh, just became a fisticuffs. It'd be crazy. It'd be crazier than it was. But you know what? Chris Rock said, hey, that was the greatest night in the history of television. He was just so completely flustered and out of, like, what just happened? Like, the whole world was right there with Chris Rock, like, what just happened? Amazing. But Chris Rock is great. I'm sure he's going to have a great comedy special in about a year about it. It's going to be funny. I'm going to watch it. We're all going to laugh, have a good laugh about it. I think he should sucker punch Will Smith back. Honestly. My honest opinion is that they should have a meeting of the minds. And we're going to videotape Will Smith and Chris Rock talking. And the Chris Rock should be like, hey, you know, I remember that time you walked up on stage and just slap Will Smith and then it'll be even. I don't know if you've ever been slapped in the face. I've been slapped in the face. It's I've got a couple stories. One is, before my band used to go up on stage, I came up with the harebrained idea. I was like, hey guys, why don't we slap each other in the face so we get our adrenaline spiking so that we can like go out there and explode with energy. So for about a month or two on the road, we just started, before we went on stage, we'd all slap each other in the face. Consensually. I've been non-consensually slapped in the face by an ex-partner a couple times. And, yeah. Studio 88 says, on the complete opposite end of someone coming up on stage unexpectedly, do you recall at the Emmys about 8 years ago when they were announcing the nominees for Best Actress in a Comedy and Amy Poehler jumped up on stage, then all the nominees, as their name was called, came up on stage too. Happiness. That was a good memory. That was pretty cool. I don't remember that, but that sounds pretty cool. Yaug says, he barely touched him, even if he did. This is not the point, though. He smacked him. And that's the point. He should have been removed. This is all I'm saying. Will Smith did a thing. There should have been consequences. Will Smith went up on stage, smacked a comedian who was presenting. He should have been removed from the audience. Change my mind on that. It doesn't make any sense that he wasn't removed. This is my argument. If Will Smith wants to smack a fool, that's his own prerogative. But the fact that they didn't take him out, I don't agree that he should have smacked a guy. I don't think that anything warranted that type of response. Words should have met words. Actions should have met actions. If Chris Rock was accosting his wife in some way, in a physical way, Will Smith has every right to slap him off. Get away! Sorry for the frame rate situation here, guys. I haven't been doing the show for weeks, so my computer is slow. Novin Ryder, welcome to the show. How is it that you are doing... wait. How is it that you are doing, dude? Well, I suppose. I'm wearing contacts today. You might be able to see my eyeballs. As Will says, how about unsolicited kissing at the Oscars? Yes, I agree. That Adrian Brody, that was bad. That was not nice. That was assault. I agree. Yeah. That's different. Yeah, I agree. He should have been kicked out too. What if they had herpes, says this Will? That's true. That's very true. He could have had a blister on his lip or something like that. Not good. Novin Ryder says, yes, I could see your balls from here. Yeah. How do you like my balls? I got brown balls. See? My eyes aren't that big, so I've got small brown balls. Just saying, I've been slapped in the face, also consensually in other contexts. And you know what? Not so bad. Novin Ryder says, what if you had herpes? You're one, Novin Ryder. Yaug says, I don't think it was real. You're right. It doesn't make sense. I was saying earlier, Yaug. I know Yaug, long time. I was saying earlier, a lot of times people find it hard to believe that something so outrageous is real. I just think it's real. I think it really happened. I think if they just said, hey, we're a little nuts now. The world is a little crazy. Something weird happened. Now we're dealing with it. People just find two sides to every story. People sit there and they don't want to believe it's real. They don't think it's real. It was real. Why are we still talking about it? Because it was real. Because it really happened. Very little of it makes sense, says Yoke. But that's the point. Will Smith reacted irrationally. I've seen this before. I used to work as a counselor. I used to work as a case manager. I've seen people go a little unhinged. This is what Will Smith was. Will Smith was in a weird spot. He was in a weird place. I almost feel bad for him. I would have felt bad for him had he not slapped a fool. But he's a privileged dude. He sat there and they did nothing. And that's horrible. Studio 8H asks if my sweaty balls are chocolate and salty. These balls are actually very salty, but They're just brown balls. Just brown, salty balls. Yaug says, except that 5 years of tanking ratings have prompted people to do something about it. Listen, I believe in Occam's razor. It's not a belief. It's just a let's use Occam's razor. Hey, Ange. What's up, Ange? Just in time for the Will Smith slap. I didn't get to talk about it last week because I wasn't here. I was in San Diego shooting a conference, and it was a long week. But I'm back, and we're talking about the Will Smith smack attack. I got to say, though, Occam's razor, ladies and gentlemen, Occam's razor. You guys know what that is? The most likely scenario is likely the scenario. I can't sit here and say, well, they probably planned this and they thought about this ahead of time so that they could have this fallout and that so Will could get resigned from the academy. Like, none of that makes any sense. None of that makes any sense. What makes sense is a guy slapped another fool and now he's in trouble. That's the easiest route. There's nothing more to the story than that. See what I'm saying? I can't. I'm really shocked and amazed that the people are like, "What are 2 stars of every story? 2 stars of every story." No, you slap someone, you get kicked out. You're at a show, you go up on stage, you slap the person on stage, you get kicked out. You go up on stage and you slap it, you get kicked out. That's what happens. That's what happens. Probably, hopefully, almost every time. Where are my eye crutches? I'm wearing contacts, so now you can see my balls. Is this Will says? Well, let's back up here. Everybody saying hi to each other. Yauk says, I know how easily people believe BS firsthand. You just might. Ange says, where are your eye crutches? They're over there somewhere. Is this, Will says, weirder, the slap or MJ dangling blanket off the balcony? Weirder? All right, let's get weird. Which is weirder? Michael Jackson dangling blanket or King Michael II? Or I don't know. What's Prince Michael? Weirder? The baby one. No. Yeah. No, it's not weirder. You know why? Because Michael Jackson's weird to begin with. What's weirder is Will Smith losing his cool, snapping, and doing that. See, if you were to tell me, yeah, Michael Jackson hung a baby out off a balcony today, I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But if you told me, hey, I was watching the Oscars and Will Smith went up on stage and smacked Chris Rock while he was presenting, I'd be like, I need more information. That sounds crazy. Does that sound crazy to you? So I'm going to say Will Smith smacking Chris Rock is weirder. Yauk says the timing was too perfect. The Oscars needed something crazy to happen, and it did. Yauk, respectfully, I disagree. And I say that with respect. I just don't think that they were planning on anything. I don't think they were. It doesn't seem that thought out. People want this to make sense so much. They want it to make sense so much that they're building these narratives. But let's go Occam's razor. Jada gave Will Smith the eye. Will Smith said, uh-oh, I need to go smack a fool to show that my relationship is strong, which is the exact opposite of what it shows. It shows that he has got a very tenuous and weak relationship with Jada. That he has to do this to demonstrate his manlyhood and his protectiveness by going to slap Chris Rock instead of say, look, if Will just said, hey, keep my wife's name out your effing mouth, and then gave Chris Rock the finger, that's it. That's it. We're done. We're done here. But he went up and slapped a fool, and that's what got him in trouble. Ange N.O. says it was definitely real. The way they fumbled to cut the audio and that Tony Rock reacted as any sibling should. Oh, I didn't see Tony Rock react. What was his reaction, Ange? That's what Ange was saying. Is Will said both Will and Tom have snapped at pranksters in the red carpet for squirting them and the water for trying to kiss them. Will slapped the guy. That's true. That is true. I remember that. But that was not unprovoked physically. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why it faded. It was weird. If you get squirted in the face by someone, you might want to like stop the water stream or like, but yeah, Will Smith did go back to the guy and find him and then slapped him. But I cannot blame someone for that as much. There's degrees. There are degrees. You say a thing to me that I don't like, I'm gonna say something back to you, crush you into the ground verbally. I will take you, I will twist your head off and throw it through a basketball hoop verbally with insults if you insult me or someone I care about. Verbally. If you come at me, you know, I've been working on these guns. I'll snap you in two. Just saying. Let me just catch up. I'm going back in time now. Now we're on fire. This discussion is in depth. We can't get enough of this slap. But Will, you are correct. Will Smith did smack a dude for squirting him in the face with some water. But again, I can almost justify that. He was assaulted. He assaulted someone back. If you get squirted in the face with water, that's assault, technically. Okay? So, actions mean actions, words meet words. This is my point. Studio 8H says, if it was Randy Quaid that went up on stage and smacked someone, that would make sense. That would make absolute sense. If Randy Quaid was like, I don't know, she falls in a well, her eyes go crossed, she gets kicked by a mule, they go back again. I don't know. Yeah, Randy Quaid makes the most sense at not making sense. Angie N.O. says, boy, let somebody slap my little brother. We meeting, old-fashioned, and I fighting somebody. For real. You come at someone I care about, I'm going to twist your head off. That's what's going to happen. You can count on it. You can count on not having a head anymore. But I was paused at that part of the song. But Will, someone says something at an award show, expect that it's going to be poking fun. Again, people are like, well, Chris Rock said verbal abuse at Jada Pinkett. And I'm like, no. He said, hey, beautiful bald-headed woman, you could be like another beautiful bald-headed woman was in a movie. Literally what he said. He said, hey, you're a beautiful bald-headed lady. Why don't you be in a movie that was known for having a beautiful bald-headed lady in it? She has alopecia. She's going bald. She has fits of alopecia, like half of all humans. Like half of all people in their lifetime might have to deal with some form of hair loss. Just saying. As a dude, I know that it's more traumatizing for perhaps women, I suppose. I can only imagine. But it's not cancer. And also, Jada Pinkett Smith said last week, I don't care who make fun of my head. She literally said, I shaved my head, I don't care who makes fun of it. You can't publicly say that and then get publicly outraged when someone says, hey, I can't wait to see you in a movie. And if Jada Pinkett Smith just said, like I said earlier, if she just flexed her arms and went like, that's right, I'm going to be G.I. Jane 2, yeah. If she just said that, she would have owned the moment. It would have been completely forgotten about. We wouldn't be talking about this right now. Isis Will says, you're assuming Will is the Dom and not Jada. No, I never assumed that, Will. I never, ever assumed that. I don't, maybe you're not talking to me, but I never assumed that Will was, quote, the Dom. I think Jada in that dynamic, everybody had, listen, we're going to talk about relationships dynamics. It is not healthy, in my opinion, to have an imbalance of, quote, power in a relationship, or at least a struggle to have dominance in the relationship. Maybe in the bedroom you could do whatever you want, but in a relationship, there shouldn't be this struggle for dominance. It should be, in my opinion, for healthy reasons, I think that you should have a meeting of the minds and an even playing field. I don't think that that's true for every relationship. I think, in fact, in Jada and Will's relationship, Will feels the need for some reason or another to, quote, protect his family. However, I don't think Jada has any problems protecting herself. I don't think she has any problems getting Will to jump through hoops for her. I don't think she has any problems getting him to do what she wants him to do. Honestly, that's my opinion. From what I've seen, I think that Will is acting in a way, because he was laughing at first at the joke. He saw Jada's side eye and he said, uh-oh, I got to do something, because otherwise some kind of power imbalance is happening there. I need to prove to her that I care about her in this way, which is not the right way. He needed to prove something. Is this Will? Yauk says, I'm not even an actor, and I made a video where I'd say 0.1% of everyone thought it was real, but it wasn't. I'm just saying that they are pro actors. I'll stop now. Yes, Yauk, we know your very infamous video. If you want to go check it out, go check out Yaug's very infamous video. A YouTuber in his own right, obviously, a successful YouTuber. You got to check out his video. But I agree with you. That's why I said in a snide or a sly way earlier, I bet you do. When you said, you know how easy it is to fool people. I said to you, go back to the videotape of this episode and watch my reaction, because I was giving you a wink. I said, I bet you do. So you brought it up. You guys can check it out. Studio 8H says, Jada is the dom in that relationship. Always has been. 100% Studio 8H. I think she used... Hey, nobody ever talked about toxic femininity. Let me just say. Everybody's always talking about toxic masculinity. Look, we're going to get into it about the toxic femininity, okay? Because she could be like pretending to be a damsel in distress. Which could be, what? Ain't that toxic femininity? How does this work? Tell me how this works. Tell me how this works. I'm not trying to make any claims here, but there can't just be toxic masculinity. Clearly, he used toxic masculinity to handle the situation from what appeared to be, perhaps, I don't know, toxic femininity. Maybe she said, oh, I'm hurt. You need to save me now. I don't know. Now I'm talking about masculine and feminine. I'm not talking about male and female. Masculine and feminine. These are... They interact. Masculine and feminine interact in ways. Yauk says that doesn't make any sense either, though, that he would do that. It's crazy. And said he had a show a couple of days ago and he was livid. He said there's 10 of us rock. Oh, you're talking about Tony Rock and a bunch of other proper threats. Yauk says I made a hoax video, and 16 million people saw it, and 99% of them thought it was real. Well, Yauk, it was your acting, your vocal performance that I think sold it. People don't like that they were fooled. They take everything at face value. I just wanted to give my opinion. No, I agree. You put something on TV, and it's going to be real for most people. I just don't think that it would be dragged out to this extent. And I think it would just be let go if they said, hey, it was a publicity stunt. Hey, this was a stunt. I don't think that Will Smith wanted to resign from the Academy. Let's talk about that. You don't do something. If it was a joke, they would have just been like, hey, it's a joke. Chris Rock would have said, hey, it's a joke. Don't let Will Smith resign from the Academy. Chris Rock doesn't strike me as that type of dude that would be like, yeah, Will Smith, get kicked out of the Academy, whatever. He doesn't seem like that. He didn't even press charges, guys. Stop it. Stop it. Let's talk about this if it's real, because I think it's real. Anne said the Oscars are 94 years old. 94 years old. Dang. That's old. And they've been having comedians for like 70. So if it was that sensitive, knowing there's going to be comedians, stay home and boycott like you did 4 years ago. And you on fire. That's true. I totally agree with that, actually. I sit there and I'm like, Will Smith acted like he had never been to a award show before. You got to watch the freaking Golden Globes when Ricky Gervais hosts, because it's way worse. It's way worse. He would call out Harvey Weinstein for all kinds of stuff, and he was right. So maybe worse, better, but Ange be like, oh, it's not playing, huh? I tried to do this. Hold on a second.
I can destroy everything, but I'm not. But I can.
You can. That's Ange, ladies and gentlemen. Isis Will says the racial element best summarized by the jokes that they turned the Oscars into a Source Awards, which are notorious for descending into violence. Well, interesting. I just don't think that there is a racial element to this personally. Why did Google Chrome open up? I think I've got a spyware on my computer, guys. I think there's like some spyware going on. I'm gonna have to clean my computer. Jada is not known for her sense of humor, says Studio 8H. Because, you know why? I think she's a narcissist. I think that Will is also a narcissist. I think narcissistic people cannot have a sense of humor about themselves. They just can't, for some reason, because they take themselves too seriously. And you know what? When they take themselves too seriously, they try to strike out in anger and rage. Look at that in life. If someone strikes back at you with anger and rage when you meant to just lightly poke fun at them, the chances are they're narcissistic. Yaug says people are so dumb they believe a Schumer Dunst bit was real. Just saying, okay, I'm actually done. Yaug. Nobody got kicked out of the academy. Nobody resigned from the academy over those things. We're seeing real world consequences. We're seeing Chris Rock talk about it, saying, look, I don't know what to say about this. It was messed up. I don't even want to talk about like this is like it wasn't real, because I feel like we're not addressing the issue properly. We're not talking about the actual thing. We're just saying it wasn't real because it kind of reminds me in a weird way when people are like, I don't want to wear a mask during COVID, or it's like, well, you don't want to wear a mask, but you should. People are like, well, let me list all of the reasons that I think I shouldn't wear a mask, because number one, I don't want to wear a mask. And I'm trying to support my not wanting to wear a mask with cherry-picked facts, because I don't want to wear a mask. So I think people are like, I don't want to believe it's true, so let me find all the different things that make it seem like it's not true. When the direct, most straight line is that it's true. Chris Rock said something, it upset Jada. Will Smith took physical action. That's a very straightforward story. That story is believable. Everything else is not, to me. It doesn't make any sense. From what I saw was the behavior of some dude who went unhinged, who felt the pressure of his relationship, his crumbling relationship, and thought he should take action. Girl Dad says, I hope you're satisfied, but if you ain't, don't blame me. You can't blame my friends on the other side. I don't know what you're talking about. And N.O. says, then he's going to get up and cry at his acceptance speech. Yeah, wasn't that gross? Wasn't that gross? Will Smith getting up on the stage and everybody's applauding this dude? He should have been gone. You know what they should have said? Will Smith ain't here to accept the award because y'all know why. Anyway, good night, everybody. That should have been what happened. Will Smith got escorted out for slapping Chris Rock So he's not here to accept this award. How hard is that? Isis Will says, I'm just saying she may be able to yank his collar with a glare, and part of being a dom is having a sub violate all forms of decorum and propriety in the state her will. Yeah, you know, they might have a submissive and dom relationship, maybe. Some people do those things. Some people don't yuck anybody's yum. Those are things that people do. They participate in. And Jen O says, oh my God, toxic femininity is so real. So give us some examples of toxic femininity. As well as, not that I'm saying he is blameless, but maybe our perception of insecurities is more complicated than we realize. Yauk says, don't bother checking out his video. His channel is dead. It's indeed dead. Studio 8H says, people think magic tricks are real too, but we know it's not. Okay. I see your angle there. I paused. Studio 8H, Will Smith isn't jeopardizing his entire career for something like this. Yeah, I don't think so. And Jano says, watch put. Will Smith might be trying to come through your computer and slap you. Oh, watch out. Oh, look out. Listen, if Will Smith comes at me like that, I ain't going to allow that to happen. Personally, Mr. Smith, I'll send you to Washington. Studio 8H says they let Will talk for about 6 minutes too. There should have been 2 police officers standing next to him. Be like, finish your speech. You're going to we're escorting you out of the building. I don't even think he should have gone to jail. He should have got arrested. I don't think any of that. I just think the simplest and easiest and the dumbest and the most obvious thing to do was to kick him out of the ceremony. Like, why was that hard? Apologize again for the frame rate of today's show. I don't know why. Listen, this is just the Aristotle Full Throttle Show. It's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And today we're talking about, is this Will? Sorry, Will. I'm not going to bring you to... We're talking about Will Smith. Not the other Will Smith. Is this Will is also Willie Smith, but this is the Will Smith we're talking about. Is this Will? Have you ever slapped a fool for saying something silly? Yax says, do you think his career will recover? Yes. He's Will Smith. I know that he's had some stinkers. Yeah, yeah. His career will recover. 100%. I think people are fascinated by him. I think he's going to go on an apology tour, and it's going to even make his career better. But Will Smith still hasn't apologized. He hasn't apologized to Chris Rock. He put a picture up on Instagram with an apology in it, which was just like, come on. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to teach you what an apology is, because I recently got out of a relationship, and the person didn't know how to apologize, and did things that they should have apologized, in my opinion, for. So here's how you do it. You say, I was wrong. I'm sorry. You see? Very easy. Some people go like this. Some people go like this. You know, look, it wasn't that bad. Sorry. You know, but, you know, you're fine. Everything's fine. Some people do that. Some people say, hey, I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt. Some people do that. Those aren't apologies. You know what an apology is? I'm sorry that I hurt you. My bad. I was wrong. Here's what I'm going to do to make amends. Not do that again. Do you see how that works? It's not hard, but it is for many people. Many people are like, hey, sorry your feelings were hurt. A lot of times, most of the time, I think people go, I didn't do anything wrong. Most of the time, people are like, I didn't do it. Wasn't me. They're like Shaggy up in here. Wasn't me. It was you, Shaggy. You did it. You should apologize for it. Some people go like this. They go, hey, I'm sorry. Can we move on now? That is also not an apology. Because you know why? Because you can apologize to somebody, but you can't demand forgiveness. That's a different thing. You can beg for forgiveness, but you can't demand it. You can't say, I'm sorry, everything's better now. You can't. We're doing Apologies 101 here on Aristotle Full Throttle, because I got my balls out. Talking about my brown balls. You can see them. Is this Will says, as a kid, I did unfortunately get gut punched a kid who was smaller and younger than me for trying to humiliate me. Another kid I put in what 11 and 12-year-old told me was a sleeper hold. Oh no, just don't do the DDT, is this Will, because that's banned. That's not a good move. You just did a sleeper hold. Did someone come home, lift his hand up and drop it? Lift his hand up and drop it? Lift his hand up and then do the Hulk Hogan thing, where he keeps his hand in the air, and then he pulls the guy off of his head. You know what I'm talking about. Remember Hulk Hogan was in the sleeper hold, but he got out of it? He got out the sleeper hold. Now we're talking about wrestling. Yauk says, yes, I think so too. I think everyone will end up benefiting from this. Oh, wait, what did I miss? About his career recovering. Isis Will says that she outed their relationship issues on the red carpet table, talk show, or says something. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of vulnerability out there with the Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. There's a lot of stuff going on that, unfortunately, we do know about. I mean, come on, guys. Keep it to yourselves. Keep your relationship business out of my peanut butter. I don't like it. I mean, I don't care for it. You can do whatever you want. But we don't need to know about it. Why do we need to know about it? People get all up in arms about people's relationships dynamics because, you know, they think one thing is healthy and one thing is not. They don't know. Who knows? Everybody's doing something. Everybody's got their own rules in their own relationship. There's no rule book. FYI. I don't know what you're doing. I don't need to know what you're doing. That's between you and whomever. And Will Smith feeling like he's got to prove something to somebody, I think. I mean, if that ain't the case, I don't know what the case is, because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like he tried to prove something to Jada and the world. Angelo says people don't want to be wrong, and they're definitely wrong. That feeling is worse than the offended feelings. Yes. That's true. People don't want to feel like they hurt somebody that they care about, so they don't apologize, and they just justify their own actions. It's very disappointing and very frustrating. They say, I did this because of this. And then you can say, I understand why you did those things. However, those things that you did, they hurt me. And you can decide to apologize for that or not. Unfortunately, my previous relationship, they did not. They just said, I did these things because this. And then I said, those things hurt me. And they said, well, I did well, you shouldn't feel that way. And then I said, that's called gaslighting. That's not fair. You cannot decide how someone else should feel about something. You cannot demand forgiveness from them. You can only offer an apology. And you got to mean it. You can't just say, hey, I apologize. Can we move on now? Because that's just not how it works. Yauk says, Will Smith will give a better apology. Rock will accept it and apologize for the joke. They will hash things out and co-host next year's event to record ratings. That would be the ideal outcome. However, I don't think Chris Rock should apologize for the joke, personally. I don't think he should apologize for the joke. It's a joke. Shouldn't have to apologize for it. It's a joke that if you really look at it, if nothing happened, nobody would be talking about it the next day. Nobody. Not one person. Zero. There would not be outrage going, my gosh, did you hear that joke that Chris Rock said to Jada Pinkett Smith? Nobody would care. Zero. Not one person would mention it the next day. That's why I'm confused as to why people think anything that Will Smith was justified. Anything that Will Smith did was justified. It just, nobody would be talking about that joke. G.I. Jane joke? Nobody would remember that. If they just laughed and were like, if Jada Pinkett had a sense of humor about herself, and he's like, Jada, I love you. Can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2. And if she said, that's right, I'm G.I. Jane, woo! Look at me with my head. This is my new look. Check me out. I'm G.I. Jane, whoop! Yeet! If she said that, anybody gonna be outraged by that joke? For real. Tell me for real you're gonna be outraged by that joke. Studio 88 says, Rock and Smith will go on The Daily Show to make amends. A funny aside, on another channel, while the Oscars were on, G.I. Jane was playing simultaneously. Amazing. I'm waiting for the deep fakes of Jada Pinkett. It's just so absurd to me. You're like, Demi Moore, one of the most beautiful women in cinematic history. I'm comparing you, Jada Pinkett, one of the most beautiful women in cinematic history. I'm comparing the two of you. Not even comparing. I'm saying that you are a beautiful bald-headed woman who can be G.I. Jane. Tell me where the offense is. Tell me how that's offensive. If she took it, if she got hurt by it, that's one thing. Clearly she was hurt by it. Will Smith took it upon himself to take care of the situation in the way that he thought he should take care of it. But the fact that, listen, I know that intention is a big part of it, but just have a freaking sense of humor about yourself. Have a sense of humor about yourself. If I go to the front row of a award show and they just start making fun of my hair, they start making fun of the way I look, how tall I am, whatever it is, the gap in my teeth, I'm gonna laugh. It's happened every time I go to a comedy show. Every time. And if you want to argue that it's not a comedy show, the Oscars, you don't hire Chris Rock to present an award and not expect him to tell jokes or poke fun or acknowledge the people in the audience. That was an acknowledgement. It was an acknowledgement. Isis Will says humor is not Jada's MO. See also her interview with Snoop about Tupac's murder and being implicated as conspiring in it. Yeah, she's a narcissist. She's very narcissistic. She has no sense of humor about herself. We saw that. Horrible existence. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I can't imagine not finding everything funny. I can't imagine it. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Like, my life is filled with joy and happiness because I am able to just find the humor and entertain myself and my own thoughts in my head because I like to laugh and I like to have a good time and I like to make other people laugh and I like to be around happy, joyous people. I can't be around someone who's like, go smack that guy. Or whoever decided that Chris Rock deserved a smack. Yauk says, I think she's getting too much hate. All she did was roll her eyes. Yeah, so maybe. You know what it is? It's an eye roller. that was probably the most appropriate response. It was what Jada Pinkett did, was roll her eyes at the joke. Good. That was appropriate. What Will Smith did was what they call batch poop crazy. I almost said it, guys. I almost broke my cardinal rule. I'm going to have an AFT after hours where I just let it all fly. I'm just going to do it. I think it'll be a more compelling show if I talk like an adult. Yauk says, I was offended how unfunny the joke was. That's what the offense is. That's what we should be talking about. That's not even a good joke. It's not even a good joke. I agree with you, Yauk. It was a bad joke. It was like an off-the-cuff, throwaway line. That's all it should have been. But Will Smith said, well, you know, I haven't been punching anyone in a while since I played Muhammad Ali. Let me go slap Chris Rock. What makes him think he could slap Chris Rock? One of the best comedians who ever lived. Comedy. And she's the same. I laugh at myself constantly. You gotta laugh at yourself. I find, like, I'm here to be laughed at. Okay? This old helmet says, this is very fascinating fact, and I think this is actually really important for us to recognize. This old helmet says, strap-on spelled backwards is no parts. Thank you. Yauk says, did Rick even know she had alopecia? Rock even know? Did Rock even know she had alopecia? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's my opinion. Chris Rock. People were like, Chris Rock has made jokes about Jada Pinkett in the past. Doesn't matter. Did Chris Rock know she had alopecia? Doesn't matter. What matters is one dude slapping another guy and then going back to his seat unpunished. Like, he should have been escorted out. I'm not even arguing Will's behavior because it was just an asymmetrical attack. It was asymmetric warfare. You got one guy says a joke, says words at a guy, and then the other guy takes it upon himself to express himself physically instead of just retaliating with words. Words meet words, actions meet actions. This is my belief, my ethic. Angelo says, no, Chris didn't know until after the fact. Ange says, true, it doesn't matter. He was hired to do a job, and he was physically assaulted for it. Yeah, he should get workers' comp. Chris Rock sitting at home, nursing his face with an ice pack, with a thing of frozen peas. I'm on workers' comp, 6 months. They're gonna give me $6 million. That's probably what would happen. What does Chris Rock make each year? Telling jokes, saying words. Says words for a living. He's not out there doing MMA. But I want to thank you guys for watching today. You're going to listen to this tomorrow on anywhere you can get podcasts. It's the Aristotle Full Throttle Show. It's 5 days a week. Hey, come on, hang out. I wasn't here all last week, but I'm back. We're talking about the Will Smith smack attack. I do want to say rest in peace to Taylor Hawkins. I'd been learning the drums, and I'm getting pretty good at the drums. And I just, these last few months, all I've been listening to is Foo Fighters and learning how to play Taylor's drums. And I was like, man, I actually figured out how to play Everlong. But Dave Grohl plays the drums on that recording. But I did watch them play it live, and I watched Taylor, how he plays it. The Pretender, an incredible song by the Foo Fighters. I learned how to play that song on the drums. And I just love it because Taylor sings the lead. He sings the high part. Dave sings the low part. Taylor sings the prominent part of that song. And it's just really, I gotta say, as a rock and roll musician myself, we lost a really good musician. We lost a guy who was just like a good force. Taylor Hawkins was the kind of guy you were just happy existed. Happy knowing he was in the world. I got my, I was sad. Last week I got my Foo Fighters refund because I got tickets to go see them in August. And I was just reminded again, I'm like, damn, we're never going to see the Foo Fighters like the way I used to see them. I seen them like 5 times maybe. And I said, the dynamic of the live show is Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins talking to each other the whole time. The whole time. They just quip back and forth. Even part of the show, Taylor Hawkins takes the mic and sings some songs. Dave Grohl plays drums because Dave Grohl's one of the greatest rock and roll drummers in rock and roll history. Yeah, and we got the 45-minute outro starting now. I just wanted to give my tribute to Taylor Hawkins because I think that, he was like the vanilla Oreo to Dave Grohl's Oreo. They looked like the invert. He looked like the negative of Dave Grohl. They were Bobbsey twins. I feel, anybody watching Dave Grohl right now? How's Dave Grohl doing right now? They was best friends. It's really sad. I feel bad for Taylor's family. I feel bad now that I didn't go up to him that one time I saw him at the bar. I could have said hi to him. I was over in Woodland Hills where he lived. And that was my chance to meet Taylor. I just figured he'd be around forever. He just seemed like the kind of guy who'd be around forever. And we lost him. And it's a big loss. And I'm glad that Billie Eilish wore a Taylor Hawkins shirt at the Grammys last night. That was nice and moving. And they gave like a nice tribute to Taylor Hawkins at the Grammys. Because the dude is just, he played for Alanis Morissette and then the Foo Fighters. The guy's got, he's been an iconic drummer for anybody who loves him. And you may not like the Foo Fighters, come on. But they're the most good rock band. They're the goodest rock band right now. Or were. In the sense that they still crank out decent rock songs. And they're fun to watch. They're fun. They're a fun time. They've got some classic songs. I'm not over the moon about the Foo Fighters, but a song like Everlong, The Pretender, All My Life, Monkey Wrench. You could just go down the list. They've had more hits than Nirvana, which was Dave Grohl's previous band. And I just say to myself, look at this band. Look at this rock band that's still doing it. And everybody in this version of the Foo Fighters was basically everybody who's ever been in the Foo Fighters. Minus one drummer. I don't know. I just think it's a damn shame that we lost Taylor. He was a fun, jovial guy. He had 10 different drugs in his system, but look, he's a rock star. He's having fun. No, I don't know. I think it was the opioids, probably. Or it could have been the cocaine. Or it could have been any combination. But the dude needed to play drums every night, dude. Let's give the guy a break. It's a hard job playing drums with the Foo Fighters. Yeah, they look like inverse versions of each other. I know, it's just sad. Anyway, love you, Taylor Hawkins. You brought us so many years of kick-ass rock drumming. Dude was kick-ass at the drums. And I say that because I've been dissecting his drum parts. And I'm sure, he and Dave collaborate on what the parts are exactly, because they're both drummers, but the dude was just monstrous. Dave is a different player than Taylor, but Taylor was the only drummer for that band. Really, truly. He was the right person for that band. And I don't know what they're going to do in the future, but they obviously need time to heal and work things through. And I hope that they get that time and they're afforded that peace. I don't know. I'm bummed out. I'll never see the Foo Fighters the way that I just always expected they'd be. I just always expected them to be around. Anyway, love to Taylor's family and to Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. Y'all rock. Stay strong.